Hello and welcome to Expletives included. Today we're doing another Steven Universe Rewatch podcast. Today we're going to be looking at episodes 37, Alone Together, and episode 38, The Test. Keir, let's start right away with episode 37.
Yes, first broadcast, January 15th, 2015. Written by Kate Mitoff, Hilary Florado, and Rebecca Sugar. And directed by Ian Jones Quarterly.
So we've got another episode which has been written by Rebecca Sugar.
Yes.
Because it's a very important episode.
In theory.
In theory. Even though it's... Well, I was going to say this a bit later, but this isn't really much of an episode.
Well, she also wrote Cat Fingers, so... She also wrote Cat Fingers, so...
Rebecca Sugar is weird. But no, there's like this part like later on in the show where Garnet's basically saying, it's like, you're not this, not this, you're an experience. Make sure that it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like perfectly sums up this air quotation marks episode. It's not really much of anything. It's just like an experience.
But it does some lore stuff. I mean, it also sets up that Steven has unique abilities for once.
It sets up some lore stuff, but again, I don't know, just like the stuff which is brought up with like Stevani, it's... Yeah, it kind of doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't do anything and nothing really happens, but it's still an experience? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not do you not agree? Do you...
Well, I'd say it's more of a character episode than a plot episode. Because I think there's some interesting moments of character interaction in Stevani.
Yeah.
But let's actually get to Stevani
Yes.
first. So, we begin the episode with some truly horrifying things.
It's kind of a reminder that... Well, I don't know, is it... No, because it's, if you think of the stereotypes, white men can't jump. But this is like white men not dancing. Is it just men who can't dance? Or is it kind of white men, or... I thought it was mainly dads. Dads can't dance, but then neither can Steven. Is this not playing on a stereotype at all? Is it basically just showing that Steven can't dance?
But we know he can.
Has he danced up to this point?
He dances fairly regularly.
Hmm.
I think it's that Steven just isn't very coordinated and can't be in step with people.
So,
He needs to go his own path.
I can see that. He's just too...
Steven.
He's just too Steven to learn things.
Yes. It doesn't help that he doesn't go to school either. But, so, Pearl and the Gems are trying to teach Steven how to fuse, which involves dancing for reasons.
Yes. Totally non-Dragon Ball reasons.
But yeah, but fusion dances are cool.
They are cool. Yeah, it is just like really cool. I don't know. And they kind of say that, you know, dancing synchronizes them somehow. Something.
I guess physically puts them in sequence. You know, to be totally in unison with one another.
And I guess if it is like the whole, it's the fusion is like a relationship thing, then it's kind of an intimate thing to do, kind of dancing one-on-one.
Yeah. So, it starts with Steven and Amethyst trying to dance in unison.
Not working.
And they just... I mean, to be honest, I think if Pearl hadn't stopped them, that might have actually worked, given what happens later in the episode.
Possibly.
Because it seems like... It seems to me that they're going at fusion the wrong way, which... I'm pretty sure is intentional. So, they keep doing it, then Pearl and Garnet demonstrate And
Garnet's quite a forceful dancer.
she's always in the lead. But yeah, this is sort of almost to the point of unsubtlety. It starts off with sort of a ballroom dance, and then
the dances do get kind of gyrating and thrusting and
eroticized, shall we say?
Eroticized.
You know, it ends with Pearl being pushed up against the wall with Garnet leaning over her, Pearl blushing.
Yes, that is how it ends.
Which does lead to one of my favourite fan comics, where Stephen sort of puts up his hand at this point and goes, "What if there's not a wall?" And then Pearl and Garnet are like, "But there's always been a wall."
Okay, yeah, that's good. I appreciate good humour. And
sometimes people add an additional panel that is Garnet snarkily saying, "A wall around your heart."
Okay. Where were we?
But that's often cut out because people don't like to ship Pearl and
Say
Garnet.
again?
That's sometimes cut out because people don't like to ship Pearl and Garnet.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'd be like... Well, I can't imagine that there's any couple in Steven Universe that people don't like to ship.
Oh, everyone likes to ship everyone, but the official ships are Pearl x Steven.
Steven is a child!
Yep, straight Shota, my friend. Straight Shota.
See, I want to yell, I don't know what that means, but I think I do, so I'll yeah.
Yeah. I don't subscribe to SS myself. I do subscribe to Garnet x Garnet, though.
I can... Wait, Garnet x Garnet. What? Never mind. Come on,
She's a being of pure love.
A being of pure self-love. I know what that's like.
Well, the calluses on your hands certainly do.
As we were saying in our child-friendly podcast.
So then
Stephen
tries to play Garnet's part when dancing with Pearl.
Well, it would have been a bit weird if Pearl had Garnet's role, but yeah, it would have been weird if Pearl had Garnet's role, but it's just kind of comical with Stephen and Garnet's role, because he tries to do like the up against the wall thing, and he's just kind of looking to the side, and he can't do like that whole kind of sexy, intimidating look.
No.
When he's half the height of Pearl.
He tries to dip Pearl and her head's on the ground.
Yeah. It's a thoroughly unsuccessful dance lesson. In fact, at one point they even tried to do the Macarena as one thing which anyone can do, and they still kind of mess it up. I think it's because Amethyst just starts dancing in her own kind of fashion.
And if they continued with that...
Because Stephen kind of goofs around as well, yeah.
So, after sort of trying some group dancing, with Stephen thoroughly out of step, they throw in the towel.
Well, here's a question. I might have raised it before, but I can't remember. I think I probably have asked. Stephen hasn't fused with any of the gems, has he?
Not thus far.
Because I'm just wondering, would like the fusions between Stephen and the gems be the same fusion as Rose and the gems? Because it's the same gem, but then he's got his kind of organic component.
And personality is a factor, remember? Because it's a merging of minds as well as bodies.
Yeah, but like the form, the appearance.
I think it would be different, but similar.
Oh yeah, because Stephen does look quite a bit different to Rose, and I think
Well,
Pearl says that
you know-
it's like a merging of the physical component, like the physical outside bit of the gem.
Hmm. Well, let's see. Rose was about 8 feet tall,
Yes.
and Stephen's maybe 2 foot
Well,
tall.
yeah, but also when like the 3 gems fuse, when it's like Pearl, Amethyst, and Garnet, they're huge as that fusion.
Hmm. Alexandrite.
Much taller than like the gems, like if they were standing like head to toe.
Yeah, it's also a combination of accumulated power.
Mm.
Though it is sometimes it has been floated as a theory that one of Pearl's ability is she's a fusion amplifier.
Okay. But then Zoodolite is still incredibly powerful.
Yes, but Sugilite is a fusion of 3 gems, not 2.
Mm.
You know, remember Opal is a slightly taller than Garnet.
Yes. No, I thought Opal was
But,
quite a bit taller than Garnet.
It's hard
Then
to tell.
Garnet's a
There's no
fusion
set.
as well, isn't she? So
Yeah. It is actually thought that the temple is a 5-way fusion of everyone, including
I
Rose.
thought you stated that as fact before.
It's a gem fact, yes.
But then you just said it was a theory.
Everything is a theory.
Ah, damn this show.
Remember, a theory is something with evidence to support it.
We're not talking science, we're talking cartoons.
Is there a
Yes!
difference?
Maybe. Carrying on.
So
They kind of...
so the gems have a discussion, and they're basically like, no one expects you to do this, but you know, who knows with you? You're weird.
He's wacky.
He's our Stephen.
And yeah, they say it's like, you might get it in a few years.
It's hard for all of us, apart from Garnet.
Yeah, she's like, it's hard for all of us. Not me. Wink. It has not been outright stated that I'm a fusion yet, just heavily implied.
Not even heavily at this point. That's one of the first real things that people latched onto.
Fair.
So now they're on the beach, and it's at night, but Connie's there.
Yeah. She shouldn't be allowed out after dark.
Given she doesn't live in Beach City, no.
Doesn't she?
No.
I thought she was living there like when her dad was on the beach.
Nope. We do actually see Connie's home in an episode coming up.
Wait, is it already nighttime when they're... Yeah, because...
Yeah, so maybe she's sleeping over with Stephen?
Possibly.
But it sort of would... But why was she on the beach before this, then?
I don't know.
I mean,
knows?
surely she'd... Yeah, Sucrose does.
Yes. It took me a second.
Our Dark Lord and Master Sucrose.
But yes, they're just kind of talking about dancing, and yeah,
And,
Connie
you know,
kind of,
Connie has the
carry on.
Connie has the logical suggestion. Well, if it's about the steps, why don't they write them out for you?
And then
And then Steve...
I was just going to say, and then Stephen say it's more than that. It's glowy magic stuff. Yes.
Yeah. And in that one phrase he shows he knows more about fusion than the gems do. At least in this teaching style. And then it's revealed that Connie's never danced in front of anyone.
And well, because she gets kind of anxious about dancing in front of people, and
She has what we call social anxiety disorder.
she does. I'm not sure. Well, she obviously does, like later on. But
She's a nerd.
nerd. But at the moment, we can kind of just say that she's just shy. I don't think it's like actual anxiety has been properly alluded to.
Until she has the panic attack later on.
That's what I said at to this point, and I'm sure I alluded to that later on. But
Okay. So Stephen is really smooth.
And he's like, it's like, well, she says she can't deal with people staring. It's like, I'm not. There's no one staring right now. Stare.
Huge eyes.
And actually, then after that, he is really smooth. He puts his iPod in the ground, puts it onto music, and then says like, "Come dance with me," and he's covering up his eyes to like show that.
And then they dance.
And then they dance because Stephen is one smooth mofo.
And it's really cute.
They're both kind of bad at dancing, but they pull it off.
Yeah, well, it's freeform cuteness.
And then Stephen falls over because Stephen can't dance.
But Connie catches
Because
him.
she's a warrior. With quick reflexes.
Yes, a warrior princess. A warrior princess. And, you know, they blush, giggle. Then Stephen begins to glow.
And then they blank out.
Mm.
And wake up. And realise the horror of what has happened.
They have formed one huge being.
Yes, they have formed a teenager.
Yeah.
Truly there is no more horrifying creature on this earth.
Well, there is Lars.
Oh yeah, we haven't decided if he's a teenager or not, have we? We decided he was probably early 20s. But he acts like a teenager.
So do most people in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Dan.
Enough of that.
So, I really like the way they write Stevonni's conversation.
Remind me, go over it. Explain how great it is.
Well, it's sort of a mixing of pronouns and persons, if that makes sense.
Me, us, you.
Your, I. It's an interesting way to sort of look at how the minds have kind of fused together as well, but are still independent in some form.
Well, yeah, it's like a really weird experience for them both, because none of them have experienced, neither of them have experienced anything like this before.
No.
I imagine it is kind of weird.
Yeah. Though, it does bode well for Connie's teenage years.
How do you mean?
Physically, I mean.
As in that she's going to get taller?
Taller and attractive, yes.
Yeah, but that's like a fusion of... I don't know, because it's weird, because that's... I don't know. So I don't think that's like a look ahead to what Connie's going to look like.
No, but I think, you know, Stephen adds the height.
It's in his DNA.
Well, it's in his
It's
rock.
in his rock. It's in his gem coding.
Yeah, they figure out that they're a fusion.
Mm-hmm. And
Stephen has there's kind of a Goku moment.
Goku moment?
You know, I am a fusion. Looking off into the
I don't
distance.
remember that in the Dragon Ball. But I'm not sure I ever got
When he first goes
to the fusion parts, because I only really watched Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z Kai. There's like a lot of stuff.
I thought it was when he first went Saiyan, he's like, I am a Super Saiyan.
Oh, maybe.
And looked all serious instead off into the distance.
I am a unicorn wizard.
Nah.
Um,
And then directly after that, it's just like, I have to tell everyone.
and everyone is like 3 gems.
Yeah. His substitute parental figures.
Mm-hmm. And Pearl is, well,
More than a little
I
horrified.
was just going to say she has the kind of the correct response. It's like sick and wrong, sick and wrong, sick and wrong. Undo it now. Stop this. Unclean.
She does call it inappropriate.
But they're so young. I mean, like
And,
a grown lady and a young boy, that's fine. But 2 kids, ugh.
Well, someone has to be experienced.
Sick and wrong, Keir.
Well, how do you know you won't be doing it wrong otherwise?
I'm fairly confident I'll be doing it wrong.
This is how people end up getting fucked in the ear. Or nose, or eye.
That doesn't happen.
It
La,
does.
la, 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 la. That does... Maybe in America, but that's not the real world.
Actually, there was a thing I saw in the news a while ago about a trend in Japan for couples to lick each other's
I saw that
eyeballs.
as well. It was like, actually quite dangerous, because there's a lot of bacteria in your mouth.
Yeah, enough to kill someone.
Died? I thought they just got like eye infections and stuff.
Oh no, they got eye infections, but if you are bitten by a human, it's almost certain to become infected, and if not treated, deadly.
Yeah, but that's not... that's not doing it in the ear. It's weird, it's gross, but it's not doing someone in the ear.
It has been done.
On Family Guy. Nowhere else. And
Which was-
I won't have you tell me otherwise.
Which was based on actual news reports.
Legitimately.
Yes.
Oh, my brain. The pain. Back to something normal, back to something real. Let's talk about the gem fusions again.
Yeah, so two small children have become one giant person.
One human and one inorganic gem computer human hybrid have forged to create one human gem hybrid.
Yeah, which isn't just Stephen and Connie in a trench coat standing on each other's shoulders.
Which I'm sure people could do comics about.
They have.
Excellent.
There's actually been a series of them replacing Garnet with Ruby and Sapphire standing on each other's shoulders in a trench coat in every scene. It's quite funny.
Humorous.
So,
And then it's just like, Garnet, help me out. Try and tell these kids that this is sick and wrong. And then she's just got that...
and Garnet is so happy.
She's so happy. Just a massive grin.
Yeah.
And then this is like the part where it's like, you are not one person. No, you're not two people. You're not one person. You are an experience. Make sure it's a good one. Go out and have fun. And then they do.
Yeah.
Just running, jumping, climbing.
Which, you know, that's I guess a healthy attitude towards sex.
Yes. You said that before we started recording, that you think this is an allegory for sex. Or
Well, fusions are thought to be analogous to a sexual relationship.
I thought you said it was just a relationship, but yeah. Fair. Yeah, we're adults. Relationships are bound to be sexual and stuff.
I'm not two people in a trench coat pretending to be an adult.
I'm not one person pretending to be two people in a relationship. I'm very happy with myself.
Yep. You and Mary Palm and her 5 sisters.
I think it's a Rosy Palm.
Is it Rosie Palm?
Because I think it's supposed to be like
I can't
kind of
remember.
pink, blushing, kind of... I don't know.
You'd know better than I would. So yeah, there's a lot more depth to fusions than just combining power levels. You know, it's sort of a mixture of... The reason Garnet is such a stable fusion is because the relationship of her constituent gems is so closely bound and full of love, basically. She sings a song about it.
The song in Jailbreak, where it's like, we're going to kick your ass.
Yeah,
It's been a while. I haven't gone back and watched that, but it's still, yeah. I don't know.
it's a good song, and we're actually not that far off it.
Finally. And
So yeah, she runs
I
off.
guess I can kind of see where you're coming from with like a sex analogy, because it's quotation marks 2 becoming 1, and all of the mysteries of the universe, and it's just it feels
it's a
bit
cartoon sex.
awkward because they are so young, which I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it is just a cartoon.
I suppose
it's just a metaphor, but it's still, I don't know.
Perhaps it's better not to say sex, but for love.
Or just kind of relationship, as we've kind of said before. But then that is kind of not canon, but kind of producer canon. I can't remember what the term for that was. Because you said it's like the producers of the show have like said that it is basically analogous for a relationship. So it's not kind of said in the show, but it's not fandom. It's not fandom. It's like what the producers have said. So.
It is gotten into a lot more later on. In fact, that's been one of the major arcs of the current season, is explaining Garnet basically.
And I guess I can kind of, I guess from this episode, I think the last time we saw Connie, I was like, no, they're just friends. They're not in a relationship or anything. And I guess that I can kind of see where you're coming from now from this episode. They do seem to be much kind of closer, and I guess it's mainly like the dancing and
the blushing and the touching and the feeling.
There was no feeling. Children care.
Yes, they have zero emotions.
Yes, children don't do those types of things, especially not in the UK.
But in Germany, it's fine.
And in Japan, I think. Also, isn't Holland like a very low age of consent as well? Or Denmark?
I know in Japan it depends on the prefecture. And Alabama.
Really? I thought actually no, that's drinking age.
Yeah.
Like age of consent in America, like 18.
No, age of consent is state level, so it varies.
All right.
And I think the lowest is Alabama.
Which is...
I want to say 14, but it could be 16.
Because I think 14 is Japan.
14 is also Germany.
Germany? I thought Germany was 16, same as us.
Nope.
I think there are like 1 or 2 places in Europe that it is 14. But yeah, I didn't realise that.
I know it's
Germany.
14. I know it's Germany because of a very important transgender person case.
Oh, the one who was she was like an idol or a singer or something.
She is now. She was able to have a full. She ended up. She was post-operative by age 16, and the reason that they allowed her to transition medically so early was because they argued, well, if someone's old enough to have sex, then they're old enough to know their gender.
Fair enough.
So back to the episode.
Let's stop talking about age of consent, shota, straight shota, kids. Just let's just put a blanket ban on that right now.
No more lolicon.
None at all.
So Stevani is sort of running around.
Yeah, running, jumping,
just enjoying the physicality of herself, I think.
Because she's a lot more athletic than the sum of either of her parts.
But also, I think they're enjoying the freedom of themselves. Does that make sense? Connie is, in this situation, able to experience the freedom of life that Stephen has.
What does Stephen gain from it then, from this perspective?
Well, he's just having fun with Connie and being as free as he wants to be, as he normally does.
Well, should we just say that he's just having fun kind of being a kid, rather than like having to worry about gem problems and like all, because there's been some serious stuff happening recently in the gem universe, hasn't there? I'm thinking mainly Warp Tour. Warp Tour, but
yeah, I mean, this is actually a really nice episode to follow it.
Oh, was Warp Tour the last one? So yeah, there's like some serious stuff which has just happened. He was going crazy in that episode, like legitimately street road crazy, and now he's just letting off steam in this kind of really kind of weird, new and exciting fashion.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets that from it.
Actually, that could be. But also, it's a new experience for him, and I think he's. I think what he's getting from it is experiencing something that's unique to him. So, after lounging around in the surf for a while, sort of laughing like Stephen, then Connie, then Stephen.
Yeah, do you know what they did for the voice? Because it does sound like it's a really good voice. It does kind of sound like both of them. But
I'm not sure if it's a new voice actor or not.
I think for most of the other voice actors they have, or at least for Zugalite, I know they did. They got like a new voice actor.
I'm actually checking that now. No, it's a new voice actor.
They're very, very skilled then, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she just plays Stevani.
Did you say that we saw Stevani again? Or is this like the only appearance?
No, she appears briefly in season 2.
Nice. So I remember when I was first introduced to Stevani, I had Pearl's reaction: sick and wrong, undo it. But no, I do really like. Yeah, I like Stevani. Stevani's awesome.
The horror has left somewhat.
Yes. Like actually watching the episode, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, just watching the episode, it's...
I mean, I can send you fan art to rectify that if you want.
No, that's fine. What did we just say that we're putting a blanket fan on?
Lolicon, this is completely different. This is Stevani.
This is Stevani. She clearly looks 18.
Yeah.
That will hold up in court.
Let me get...
Have you ever seen Dance in the Vampire Bund with that child lolly vampire? She's definitely like hundreds of years old. It's completely legitimate.
I was actually went to interview the vampire there, but okay.
I haven't seen that, but I'm we could also go to Twilight. There was one of the Volturi who was hundreds of years old. Still looked like a child.
I haven't seen or read Twilight.
I've seen clips. I think I've actually seen like maybe one or two of the films. It's not a good film. It's not a bad film. It's an experience. It's a bad film. Yes.
So now we get to a weird moment
where Stevani gets hungry and goes to the Big Donut.
Yeah, to get donuts.
Yeah, this is a sad moment.
Really, you think it's sad?
Well, like the moment when they leave the Big Donut, when they go to.
Oh no, I'm talking about their interaction with Lars and Sadie.
Ah yes, Lars and Sadie. What were they doing before Stevani entered?
They're sort of... Well, they're kind of... Lars is teasing Sadie. It sounds like they're talking about a guy who Sadie might have a crush on.
I'm not sure. I really couldn't get anything from their conversation. It was just a bit weird.
Well, do you want me to do the transcript?
Yes, because I did also kind of have problems listening to what they actually said. It wasn't clear, because it was kind of mumbly.
Yeah, to set the scene, they're in the middle of a conversation. They're both leaning on the counter. Lars is sort of smiling in the way that he does when he's being a dick. Sadie, no! Lars, sure. Sadie, Lars, I don't think that's... So, seriously, Lars, okay. Sadie, he's very nice. which makes me think that she's talking about a guy. And, Lars is doing that thing, oh, you've got a crush on him.
Possibly.
So maybe, they're talking about Kevin, who's the douchebag we see later in the episode.
Yeah, I have things to say about Kevin.
Or, could be talking about Stephen. Because I assume that's all they do when Stephen's not around, is talk about, why is Stephen not here?
Do you like Stephen? I don't like Stephen.
I know you like Stephen, Lars. Go on, admit it.
And then Stephen walks in, and they're all like, whoa!
Well, Stevonnie walks in.
And yeah, they're both like immediately smoten.
They both blush so red, I'm surprised they don't faint.
And then it's like, I'd like 2 donuts. It's like, have my donuts.
Take the donuts.
How much do I...
They both lose the ability to talk.
And then Lars is trying to give the donuts away for free, and then Sadie's like, no, don't worry about it, just donuts. And then Stevonnie's just like, thank you, but that's a pretty bad business practice to keep up. Walks out.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and it's just smooth.
And they just both stand. Lars and Sadie just both stand there, just like,
I'll
practically
be
drooling.
in my bunk.
That'll be on the napkins.
So many napkins. You can't have those there. Okay, let's carry on. She's outside and she's...
What? It said specifically that Sadie naps on the napkins.
Yes.
That is entirely what I was referring to.
Not in any way anything else. And as I was saying, we're now outside and we have two donuts.
One for me and one for me.
And then, and this is like the kind of sad bit.
Yeah. And there's a sort of strange distance where Stevonnie is talking to herself.
Yeah, because like up to this point it's been like Stevonnie, but now there's it's like Stephen and Connie. And it's kind of hard to discern, but it's kind of like they're talking to each other, like, we can stop this. Like, no, it's fine. And it's... Yeah.
The question is, which is which?
I don't know, I think it's like at times you can tell like which voice is from which person, but it's just kind of... It's really hard to kind of hold on to who's who. But... I don't know, I can see like where you're coming from, just like the idea that they are kind of like, as Stevonnie, like their separate voices are kind of merged, so they're kind of...
Well, I'm just not sure who's who in this conversation. I mean, it makes sense for it to be both of them. Because I can imagine them both getting quite freaked out at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to... especially not like listening to it and kind of going through it. It's like impossible to say. It's like, oh well, I think this one was this one, or... But...
Because they're both afraid of being alone.
And,
And it's sort of... They're reconciling the fact that they're not two people in this moment. They're sort of one person.
And, well, they're not together. They can kind of see each other. There's no one that they can... I don't know. There's no one who they can reach out and punch.
Well, now they have to eat both donuts.
Although I don't think they do.
I don't think Stephen would waste donuts.
No, because they start eating the donut and then sour cream turns up. And is all like, come to my rave.
Yeah, and then
and then she puts the donuts down on the bench and runs away.
Does she? I don't
I think
remember.
so. She like takes the flower and it's like, yeah, I'll be there.
Because there are free glow sticks.
Well, I think it's just because, you know, there are going to be people there
Hmm.
at some point, and it's dancing, it's, well, it's like the promise of fun. You kind of think, yeah, it's gonna be an experience. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do stuff, and you kind of get lost in that idea, and you just think that, well, you're feeling a bit shit at the moment, and you need to do something, and then, yeah, something comes up, and you kind of. I can't remember where I started from this. Is this just my explanation of why she left the donuts?
Yes.
Well, it's just, yeah, you kind of stop thinking about other things, like donuts.
We have very different priorities.
But
So anyway, they go to the rave.
and in which they realise a lesson that I've had many times but never seemed to quite learn, is that raves are never fun.
Yeah, especially sparsely populated ones.
There was a decent number of people there, but
For Beach
Beach
City.
City, yeah, there was tons for Beach City.
Like, there was like 5
I mean,
people.
that's like twice as many people as were at Beachpalooza.
True.
Um,
Though, next year's Beachpalooza does have a better
that's
turnout.
good.
There's more civic pride by next year, I think. There's a number of community events that are well attended.
Um,
So, we see DJ Sour Cream doing his thing.
with his Game Boy Advance, his Game Boy Color, and his maybe a few others.
That list them all.
I don't have the picture.
Really?
Yeah, no, I have
hold on,
everything
it is-
else closed.
Okay, he has a Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced, and a Game & Watch.
He's got a Game & Watch as well. Nice.
Hmm.
But yeah, and
So, and Ronaldo is killing it on the dance floor in his flame button-down shirt.
Ronaldo.
You know he has one of those V for Vendetta masks.
I don't know. I think he might look down on those people who believe that all of the world's problems are made by people.
He has a fedora already.
Yeah, but he knows that it's not like people and governments that are a problem. It's the snake people who controls the governments.
The Sneeple.
Snake people or Sneeple.
And I remember he did come to the conclusion that it was the Diamond Authority.
Yes, which is actually a thing.
Potentially.
I think.
Yeah.
And then Sivani starts dancing.
Yeah. Which apparently isn't a thing you do at a rave.
Because I'm not sure if everyone's... Because everyone does kind of like start staring, but I'm not sure.
I think it's because, well,
She's supposed to be like incredibly beautiful, so much so that she gets just free donuts from Sadie and Lars, and she is like dancing quite vivaciously.
and sparkles appear.
Appear, and people are going to be like, "Whoa!"
Sparkles.
So I'm not kind of sure like why people have just kind of stopped instead. It's because it's weird behaviour at a rave, because they're just kind of impressed. Or...
I suppose the situation is it's been a kind of dull night. Ronaldo is probably the best person dancing there. Then this,
Amazonian goddess.
who's not particularly clothed, comes in, almost from the sea, it seems, and starts dancing.
It's unusual.
I mean, I know my response when I see a stranger is to point and let out a call to know to attack.
Ow. right into my ear.
Oh yeah. All the way across the internet.
Headphones, Keir.
So, while everyone's pointing and staring and preparing to call, Stevonnie begins to have a panic attack because she's alone on the dance floor and no one else is dancing.
And they're all staring at them. Him. Her.
They.
I want to keep saying, like, her, because... Yeah. It's weird.
You don't want to know how much time Co spends questioning what is between her legs. So much time. It's horrifying. The number of characters wasted on this topic. But then again, 4chan's obsessed with dick girls, so...
I thought it was just certain boards, or is it just all of 4chan?
All of 4chan. It's just brought up on some boards more than others.
I don't know, because we don't really know anything about gem anatomy. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I choose to assume that it is nothing but void.
But then, because, well, it's unusual because this goes back to the band's topic.
No, we already agreed she's at least a teenager.
Well, yeah, but, okay, so, no, it's silly, it's nonsense. As you said, this is a topic that's already been talked to death. No one needs to talk about it anymore.
All I will say is there is no agreed upon conclusion.
Fair.
So, basically then, douchebag Kevin...
Oh, I want to kind of discuss the... it's not the metaphor, it's just kind of like the visualization of her kind of... Did you say panic attack or anxiety attack? Or I know they're different things. Probably anxiety.
It's difficult to tell without actually being the person. I'd say because she's they're hyperventilating, it's more likely to be a panic attack.
And just like all of the people just kind of disappear and he just turn into shadows with faces. And then she's just kind of encapsulated in this kind of flowery disco ball. And yeah, I really like the imagery, and it's creepy and arrogant and awesome and
Well, it's meant to be scary. You know, panic attacks aren't fun.
No. And then Kevin walks in.
You know, because that's what you need.
And it's just, I don't know, I haven't... Yeah, I was just going like, Stevonnie dances, everyone's there, anxiety attack, and then just go away, Kevin. Just fucking Kevin. And it's just this guy.
Yeah.
I don't like Kevin.
Smug, hipster, douchebag.
Douchebag.
So he hits on Stevonnie.
And she's like, no, just, I can't deal with this right now, go away. And he's like, no. Dude, we're perfect for each other. Douchebag. Can you smell the, can you smell the new scent I'm wearing? It's called Total Douchebag.
For men. He literally says, because we are angels among garbage people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to refer to Ronaldo that way.
It's like, garbage people? You can't talk to Ronaldo like that.
Only we get to call Ronaldo that, as we pelt him with garbage down the street.
He was searching for gem artifacts.
And we pelted him.
And what is it that kind of, because it's around this point that they kind of defuse.
Well, first it seems like Stevonnie kind of gets their own identity.
Go on.
Well, they specifically say, it's Stevonnie and I'm not your baby, when referring to Kevin's hitting on them.
And then I was like, Well, yeah, and then she's just like, you want to dance? Fine, let's dance. And then she goes apeshit berserk on the dance floor. And when I say apeshit, I mean she actually kind of dances like a monkey, just kind of punching up and down and jumping. And
I've seen weirder things in mosh pits.
You've been to Rammstein concerts.
Many times.
You could have said that instead of just... They're kind of synonymous.
Not really, it's the band who does the weird stuff.
Yeah, but does that not kind of make the people weird as well?
Not really. You don't want to be jumping up too much because there's a lot of stray fire.
Well, yeah, but I just kind of can't imagine that an audience would be just having a normal mosh pit when there's like a 12-foot cock cannon.
Well, admittedly, the foam makes doing a wall of death a bit more tricky, but people still manage it.
Rammstein are weird.
They're fucking awesome.
I didn't say that they weren't, I just said that they were weird.
And they wear that weirdness proudly on their large, throbbing, erect cock.
Children's show here.
I'm the one who sets the rating, remember?
Yeah, that is true. So we just kind of open this with, warning, may include adult content.
The channel is called Expletives Included. That is the warning.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So, while Stevonnie does this and getting angry, she defuses. And no one treats it as weird.
Kevin does.
Well, he's just like, it was two kids.
Kevin out. Bail, bail, bail. Police sirens.
So, but no one questions how.
Well, it's like, oh,
these two.
Stephen's involved.
I suppose that's what everyone else does. Is like, oh, Stephen. Yeah. At least he's not naked this time.
Yeah, but then they do kind of keep...
But then they start dancing themselves.
Because they're together again. They're no longer alone.
Which I think is what they wanted more than anything. And then Sour Cream's just like, glow sticks!
Everyone ignore the children on the dance floor. Enjoy these glow sticks.
Do you think that's his version of the smoke bomb?
Yes. Although he doesn't escape.
Yeah, but you can use a smoke bomb to avoid an awkward situation as well. And then, but Connie and Stephen are really happy and just dance happily. And presumably until they fall unconscious from dancing too much.
And because all they've had to eat like all evening is like maybe 1 or 2 bites from a donut. And I assume that fusing is very tiring.
Maybe, I mean, or potentially some of Stephen's magical gem energy was transferred into Connie.
Possibly. I don't know.
My question is, how did Connie get home that night?
Anyway, we talked about this episode for a long time, so yeah, wrap it up. Final thoughts. I think I've kind of already given like my final thoughts. It's a really interesting episode, and I'm more comfortable kind of not calling it an episode as it is an experience, quotation marks, because it's yeah, we do get like the deep lore, we do get kind of the progression of like Stephen's training with like the fusion and stuff, but it's more just, it doesn't feel like much of anything has happened exactly. It was just an experience. It was like, it was strange, it was new, it was unusual, it was exciting, there was no kind of big story, there was no big arc, there was no kind of development other than like this thing has happened, and then they're just kind of going around enjoying it. It's
but that's an equally valid story.
it is, but I don't know, I just like think with like the context and the content of the episode that, I don't know, I just feel happier describing it that way.
Okay. I mean, from my point of view, it's a really interesting character episode. Because this is sort of the most intimate thing you could show on television and still vocalize. Because we see the vulnerability of both Connie and Stephen in this episode. Admittedly, Connie more so. And there's sort of also the interesting, if you think it through, well, what is a fusion? How is it its own person? How much... It seems like Stevonnie is becoming her own person, but then they sort of break through, and I think this is a episode of questions more than anything that kind of get picked up again and again.
And I don't know, I think, again, like a lesson that I keep getting taught, but never seem to learn anything from. I think they would have been happier if they didn't actually go to the rave.
Yeah. That's something you need to learn early and
Yes.
well.
Listen, kids, don't go to raves. Nothing good ever comes from it.
Other than waking up with a tattoo for Leon on your shoulder.
Never again. I don't even know who Leon
Big
is.
Leon. It's a fine Luc Besson movie. That's my favourite of his, though. That's still Subway. Anyway, let's move on to the next episode.
We're almost at the hour mark, and we haven't even started on episode 38, The Test. Although I don't think this episode will kind of take as long as Alone Together.
No.
But yes, 38, The Test.
First broadcast, January 22nd, 2015. Written by Hilary Floredo, Kate Mitroff, and directed by Ian Jones Quarterly. So, same writing team as the last one, I think. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Apart from no sugar.
So, this is a lot less weird an episode.
Yes. Although we do get a giant statue head of Amethyst that spews boulders.
To be fair, that's totally what Amethyst would do in that situation, though.
Yeah, but I'm just... Ooh, dogs. I'm just saying that it's still a bit weird. I mean, it's not like Alone Together cat fingers weird, but it's still... It's out there. It's interesting.
But it's totally within character.
Yes.
I'm just surprised it wasn't made out of solid gold.
Now that you mention it.
You know, and spewing fire.
Yeah, just every time a boulder comes out, just... fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been a much more theatrical. But I don't know. I think it had like a good amount of Amethyst. Anyway, we start off with board game night.
Yeah. Also, and a nice bit of continuity. It opens on a shot of water dripping into a bucket.
Oh, is this the hole in the ceiling that
The Robinoid made. That the Robinoid made.
Robinoid made, yes. Paradox. Robinoid.
Yes, the Flask Robinoid. It's a nice bit of continuity.
It is.
So yeah, I assume it's family board game night?
I think it might just be because it's raining and they can't go outside.
They can literally transport anywhere in the world.
Which is what I thought. But I think maybe Stephen was just like, it's raining, that means that we have to play board games. And none of the gems could say no.
Can they ever say no to Stephen?
No, that's why I thought it might be a legitimate excuse. A legitimate reason. Explanation, even.
So it turns out Stephen has the worst board games in existence.
You say that, but when I saw them, I thought, I think this is just an analogy of today's board games.
Well, really the board games of yesteryear.
I don't know, I guess they are kind of more similar to things like Mousetrap and stuff like that, but still, the rule books to these things are very modern. Because with stuff like Mousetrap and that kind of 80s, 90s board games, it is just kind of roll the dice, go around, and then stuff happens. Whereas this is like, no, you need to get the golden spatula to open the golden can opener, to open the alphabetti spaghetti, to get the points, to buy the cards, to get the things, so that you can stave off hunger. And it's...
Because the hunger is real.
Yes, the game is fictional, but the hunger is real.
Yeah. It's called Kitchen Calamity. is the first one, and yeah, it's sort of on the level of weirdness of Gale Force Winds.
I'm not familiar with that game.
It's a reference to Bob's Burgers.
I'm not familiar with that cartoon. Well, I know of it, but I have friends who keep telling me that they want to write erotic French fiction about me. Which is weird.
Yeah. But yeah, there's it's a gag that in one episode that the children characters' aunt Gale has this game called Gale Force Winds, which includes such fun as sitting with a moist sponge on your head for half an hour.
See, that's is that comedy or is that just weird? I don't get that.
Or setting off a trap that involves turning on a fan, blowing all the pieces off the board.
So, moving on.
So they play this really crappy game.
Yes. Stephen wins because
And then-
he rolls the 2 sunny side up eggs from the cage in the thing.
Yep.
Stephen wins!
Yeah.
And then he tries to find like new board games in his board game cupboard, and he comes across the Ceasefire statue.
Yep. Do you want me to go through the board games that he goes through first,
If you
then?
think it would be comical.
Polly Polly, Toppler, Conquerors of
Which I
Eldamore,
wanted to play.
not that sorry, Don't Wake Father Figure, and Non-Invasive Operation, though it is missing a couple of organs, or Checkers, which we have seen them play before. And then the Moon Goddess statue from the Ceasefire.
And then Stephen kind of gets a bit depressed about like his first mission, and
Like I was a
I
failure.
had nothing. And yeah, he's kind of getting really depressed about it, and then
Then Pearl shows all the tact of a bull elephant.
she's just like, no, don't worry about it, Stephen. Like, it wasn't that important. If it was,
It was just a
no,
test.
like if it was like super important that it needed to stay around, then we wouldn't have used it as a test.
And it should have been way easier for you.
Well, I don't know, because she says that, and it's like it was an easy test. It's like no, it was more difficult than it should have been, and
But still,
no one kind of things to say is like, yes, you did kind of forget the Ceasefire statue, but you consistently used kind of your kind of imagination and the other word.
ingenuity.
That's the one. To kind of overcome and bypass all of the challenges that we faced, and you did kind of get us through the dangerous temple. No one kind of says like, no, we didn't kind of complete the quest, but you kind of proved yourself every step of the way.
Well, Amethyst kind of says that by saying, no, you got at least 50%.
No, I think Amethyst says like, yeah, but at least you kind of had the raft so that we didn't have to swim home.
No, Pearl follows it up with that, and there's like, that's at least 75.
yes.
Not failing at all.
Yeah, and it's like, no, it's like, don't say that nonsense. Say that he actually did well, because he did.
Say he completed the important part of the
Yeah.
test. But, you know, as I said, they have no tact.
And Pearl is just kind of getting really awkward, and her face makes funny shapes, and she's just kind of like, shit, I'm digging a hole for myself. Quick, I'll just have to dig up. That always works. Dig, dig, dig.
Yeah.
I'm just getting lower.
As all these things do, it reminds me of a comic.
Go on.
There was a little donkey that fell in a hole. So it trampled and tramped all the mud down to reach the top. It tramped and tramped and tramped. But then it summoned the great worm Shulhad, for It should never walk. One should never walk in a pattern on sand.
Those crazy donkeys.
Anyway, so Stephen's like, I demand a new test. A new test.
And they comply.
Which, so we've had a training arena this whole time?
No, because they say that they develop it for him. They kind of altered the room.
Well, it's a customized dungeon. So, they now have a holodeck.
They've always kind of had a holodeck.
I know, but it's less lame than Rose's room.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's not as developed as a holodeck.
But it's sort of so. Well, I suppose it's more a danger room than a holodeck.
I was waiting for you to say that because I couldn't remember what it was called. It's not a danger room because it's.
There is no danger.
That's true, but no, it's just like the danger room was kind of built purposefully to train the X-Men, whereas this is just a couple of rooms that was kind of built over a day or two.
I choose to sort of. They just walked out, and an hour later they came back with this.
Maybe.
We've played around with game making software. This is the kind of thing you could throw together in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's quite easy. Well, if it was like an actual test, then yes, but seeing with all the fail-safe mechanisms, that would have added a bit of time, I think.
No, you just remove all the hitboxes.
Okay, fair enough.
You maybe include a few colliders, and that's about it.
But yeah, they're all like, okay, complete these 3 test rooms, and that's your test. Come out on the other side, and then we'll be there waiting for you.
Yep. So, first is Amethyst's chamber.
Yes, the Temple of Amethyst.
The Numero Uno.
The Doom room.
Which has a giant amethyst with an open mouth.
Well, we've got like purple flames, and then we've got kind of like vines coming down with kind of thorns that look kind of like Amethyst's web. And it's like, I wonder if this is Amethyst's room. He looks behind him, and there's a giant amethyst head.
Which is truly in character.
And then Steven's like, still, I wonder if this is Amethyst's room.
And then Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. Giant boulder comes out of Amethyst's mouth. She spews it out because Amethyst is disgusting. And Stephen runs away from it.
Swings across.
Well, because is the entire kind of like downward slide Amethyst's tongue?
Yeah. Is it?
I think it might be.
I can't remember. But yeah, he swings across a gap onto a ledge with the door.
It's quite a large gap, and he has to swing across. He has to kind of grab one of the vines and make his way across.
Yeah, and is it just me, or is the thing the doors do in this kind of creepy?
With the balloons, not so much, but when it kind of walks up to them and it just kind of bubbles and pustules out and it's all yellow and it's gross and it's just like coming towards you, that was a bit creepy.
I still think even with the balloons.
Yeah, but balloons are fun. Everyone loves balloons.
I'm indifferent to balloons.
See, Keir, you just don't... I don't get you, Keir.
I've seen people do horrific things to balloons. I can
la,
never
la, la,
just
la,
put
la,
them
la,
with whimsy.
la, la, la. We don't talk about your research into balloons.
That balloon model of Auschwitz was just horrifying.
See, this is why we don't talk about balloons, Keir. Balloons are fun, and I would appreciate it if we kept it that way.
Just like clowns.
Clowns are also fun, and there is never anything creepy done with clowns.
They are just wholesome and joyful.
They live in the circus, of course they're wholesome and joyful. Or on...
So, the next room...
Next room is...
Pearls. And it's a musical pattern that we've seen in many a video game.
Yes. and it's quite obvious. Just kind of follow the pattern. It's not too difficult. It's just like start, right, left.
But it shows the pattern and he follows it. And then blades.
Yeah, it's like, dude, this run was easy. And then swing. There's like a specific name for these type of blades. It's just like an axe blade that kind of swings on a pendulum from the ceiling. And
I shall call them the pendulum blade.
That sounds pretty cool. I like it.
Sounds badass.
Um,
Now, you know what would be really cool in a video game, just side note? If a boss monster, you go into a boss monster arena and there's those pendulum blades, then the monster just grabs them out of the wall to attack you with them.
That would be cool.
Get on that, Dark Souls.
Yeah, they totally should.
So, next is Garnet's room.
Which is filled with fire.
Fire.
It seems like Garnet likes fire. And so yeah, there's like, it comes up in a pattern. There are like the lines on the floor where fire kind of breathes up and creates an impenetrable wall. Sorry. And yeah, Stephen has to time his jumps and make his way through it.
Which, nicely done video game logic. But, as he's about to, I think he's almost at the end.
And then kind of a punchy downy thingy.
A spike.
A spike. Well, it's like one of those meat tenderizing mallets.
No, yeah.
Which I think we have actually seen in Steven Universe before. So I think that I just seem to remember there's like the part where Garnet is
it's in
protecting
the
Stephen, and it's just like things punching down, and she's just kind of got a gauntlet to stop it from crushing Stephen.
Yeah, it's the episode with the teacups.
The episode with the teacups.
Where they're in Strawberry Fields.
Yes.
Where they're in
They go
Strawberry
into the
Fields.
temple and they get the gem, and yeah, it's just
Serious Stephen. That's the
Say
name
again?
of the episode. That's Serious Stephen. That's the
Yes.
name of the episode.
And it's, well, it kind of, like going back to that episode, it's like they will actually kind of fight challenges like this, because usually you would just kind of see this and think, this is never going to happen.
But they've already done this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, apart from Pearl's room.
Yeah, but it seems like the kind of thing which would maybe appear in a gem, in
Yeah.
a gem dungeon, gem place,
So-
gem temple, whatever.
The spikes are about to hit Stephen, but it stops
And
just over his head.
something which I find a bit weird about kind of Garnet's room, and about, well, how Stephen reacts to the thing coming down. Why didn't he just bubble? He could have bubbled and then just kind of walked through the room.
Well, I don't see why he didn't bubble at this point when the spikes are coming
'cause
down.
I think like that's a kind of thing which happens sometimes, not even when he's thinking about it. It just kind of happens to protect him.
Yeah,
And
I think that's maybe what Garnet was expecting in this situation.
but then we still probably would have seen, like maybe the hammer thing still kind of stop above the bubble and not kind of crack down on it. So Stephen still could have kind of figured out that this was all kind of fake, and we would still kind of like see him passing the test, as it were, which I think might have been better, because Stephen is competent, and he has proved himself lots of times, and like this kind of part where he's kind of showing that he would have died were it a real test, then I don't know, I'm not too fond of it.
I think that was maybe just a bit of writing oversight. So he realises that the test is rigged.
Well, he kind of suspects when the hammer thing doesn't kind of crush him, and then he steps back, all kind of aghast, like, what is this? And then accidentally treads on one of the fire panel things. I'm making motions with my hand just to kind of show you what happens with it
in this audio
Yes.
format.
And the fire doesn't touch him, and he kind of waves his arm around, and fire doesn't touch him, and he's like, I've been duped. He walks back through the rooms and kind of tests each room, and just kind of realizes that they were all rigged in his favour. He couldn't possibly fail this test.
And then he finds a great exploit by pushing up through Amethyst's mouth on top of the dungeon.
Yeah, he uses the Super Mario Bros. World 1 Level 2 cheat. Just run across the ceiling.
Yep.
Which he does, and then he sees the gems, and they're just like wondering why
Waiting
he's
for him.
not there yet.
And, you know,
And yeah, they just kind of explained that he couldn't have failed. It was impossible to fail a test, and they weren't really doing it to test him. They were just doing it because he needed a win. He needed a confidence boost. And then they also kind of reveal that they have no idea what they're doing, and they don't know what Stephen needs. And I think it's like Amethyst is just we're really bad at this. We're bad at raising Stephen, and we need Rose. We need Rose to raise Stephen.
which I imagine is something every parent says at some point. So, but I think what's also important is Stephen does this for them. If that makes sense.
You mean like when he?
Well, he goes through and sort of is about to.
Yeah, it's kind of framed and looked in a way that he's being all serious, and then like when he walks up to them, he's got head down, like shadow over his eyes, all sulky, and I don't know. It looks like it's kind of being set up in a way that he's going to be like, I can't believe you guys, you lied to me. This is all fake.
Which is what you'd expect in a cartoon.
No, I don't. I would expect that they would try to make me think that's what's going to happen, and then kind of pull the opposite, which is what they did. I think that's kind of what I'd expect.
From a lesser cartoon, I suppose they'd just go the "you should tell the truth" moral.
It depends. We're right at the end of the episode now, and there wasn't enough time for them to kind of go through all of this.
Yeah, but I think it's nice that he does it for them.
Yeah.
Because this exercise is to give him confidence, but he turns it around and uses it to give them confidence. Also, there's a really weird Evangelion reference here.
Haven't watched Evangelion either. You'll have to go on.
I haven't watched it either. It's but it's referenced. It's in the notes about this episode, and people have said about it. There's a series of weirdly framed shots on each of the gems, clapping, saying "Congratulations, Stephen," and that's a reference to the end of Evangelion.
I didn't think it was that weird, but yeah.
It's weirdly framed if you look at those shots. It's very different from the framing of the rest of the episode.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm sure if I knew more about Evangelion, I could see sort of I think there's meant to be an interesting juxtaposition.
Well, yeah, neither of us know that, but it's there. Just trust us.
I have them on DVD somewhere. The guy I knew in uni burned me all of Evangelion.
So, yeah, end of this episode. I think. I don't know. Do you think that Stephen would even want to kind of be all? It's like, you lied to me after kind of hearing that. It's like, because I think he has like shown like before that he can be like really adult and like trying to look after the gems before. I can't think of the instance, but yeah, I think that he would just kind of like, from hearing what they said, that he would understand like that they weren't like with the ceasefire, I guess. Like they weren't duping him to dupe him. They were just trying to look after him, and like actually hearing them say that and be honest and not try to force it. That he kind of then understands just like the position that they're in, and that
I think from a lesser show it would have done the you were lying to me thing, but that's why I like the turnaround so much, because it shows that the growth of Stephen, that he is becoming an adult, that he's beginning to care about other people's sort of emotional well-being. Sort of, and also he shows how much he empathizes with the gems, because he doesn't know what to do either most of the time, and it's sort of this moment of, well, neither of us know what's going on, but we'll make the best of it.
So, final thoughts. Would you say that's kind of like your final impression of the episode, or just anything else to say about the rooms or beginning or anything?
I will say this: it's a nice pairing, these two. Alone Together and the Test, because what we've got is a sort of a nice break in between the heavier episodes we had last week and the very heavy episodes we're getting next week. So it's a nice sort of calm before the storm.
Yeah, they are both nice. But I think I'm ready for a heavy episode. I do like these kind of, well, it's a dungeon crawl episode, even if it's a fake dungeon, and I love dungeon crawling. I think we need more of it. There needs to be, like, well, the anime. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? It's basically just one big dungeon crawl, and I love it. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of harkens back to the whole high fantasy thing, and it's weird. It's unusual. It's a dungeon. I like it. It's.
So you're saying I should run Undermounting for you one day?
Maybe. Yeah, I would like to play Undermounting, but yeah, it's just this. Damn it! Words aren't coming. I want to say like satiates, insatiable, satiates.
That's the word.
Satiates.
It feels that need.
It feels that need that I have for dungeon crawling and adventure and delving and that kind of stuff.
And it satiates my need for complex emotional struggles.
Yes, it's fun for all the family.
As long as only one person can read subtext.
I don't think the subtext is that hard to read in this one.
Yeah.
I think it's much harder in Alone Together. Well, there's the subtext in Alone Together, which anyone can see, and then there's the subtext, which, I don't know.
And then there's the deep lore subtext.
Deep lore subtext. I don't even know if we delved into that. How do you know? The deep lore subtext. Is that kind of the fusion stuff? Anyway, doesn't matter. 2 great episodes. I would be happy to... Well, I think I would be happy to watch both of them again. I think if I was going to kind of go back, then I would go back to Alone Together, because that's like a really interesting show. And I did enjoy the test, but kind of once you've seen it and you know how it ends and you know like all of the rooms, it's like it's D&D. You don't enter the same dungeon twice, unless you find out that there's like extra lower levels, which you didn't realise before. But
or you forgot some loot.
And I don't think there's any extra levels or any loot that Stephen forgot.
You might want one of those balloons.
I think they kind of evaporated into, like, I don't know. I don't think they're still there. Anyway, 2 very good episodes. Very light, very fun. Yeah, they were fun.
I will say, Alone Together, this is maybe my 4th time watching it. Still holds up.
Yes. So yeah, I would have watched it twice. So, and still, just go away, Kevin. Screw that guy.
Yeah. Talk us out, Dan.
We've been Expletives Included, and we've been talking about Steven Universe. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all again next week.
Bye-bye.